Hey, greetings. My name is Dr. Brady Wyrick, and I'm a chiropractor here in Southeast Idaho for the last 18 years. I've practiced functional medicine, functional neurology, and regenerative medicine. And if you'll give me the next 20 minutes, what I'm going to do is show you exactly how to reverse type 2 diabetes. I'm going to tell you the different forms of type 2 diabetes, and then I've got a special offer at the end that will change your life. And if you take that special offer and you follow what I tell you in this video, you better have your doctor on speed dial, because what's going to happen is your inflammation levels are going to drop, your blood sugar levels are going to drop, your weight's going to drop, and you're going to need to get rid of some medications. And I can't do that for you. You've got to get with your doctor, but I'm just going to show you in this video what lifestyle changes to make. So what happened is last Friday we did this webinar live. I did record it. However, I did not like the recording, how it turned out. So I sat down, did it again, kept it to 20 minutes. That's it, 20 minutes of your time. And if you watch all the way to the end, I promise it's going to be huge for you. So stick around to the end. Let's rock and roll. Let's dive into this. Okay, so yes, this is the re-recording of the How to Master Your Own Blood Sugar webinar. I did not like the final product, so here we are recording it again for you in its entirety. So you'll notice a number below me that says to text 208-218-8622 and text the word reverse diabetes. That is to claim the special offer that I'm going to give at the end, which is a DIY, do-it-yourself reverse diabetes course that's just jam-packed full of what I can't share in this short amount of time. So the purpose of this presentation is to help you understand the many different types of diabetes. And what we're talking about here is prediabetes, insulin resistance, type 1.5, type 2, and type 3. These are all reversible with diet and lifestyle. And also medications are sometimes necessary at first, but these were never, ever intended to be a permanent solution, except for those who are selling them. I want you to understand too that there really is no pill for every ill. So when you talk about, are there supplement recommendations that you can make to help your diabetes? Are there products out there that can lower your blood sugar? Absolutely there are. However, there is no pill for every ill. There's not one product that exists that if you just take this product, you're going to reverse your diabetes. You have to make lifestyle changes, and that's what I want to demystify in this recording. So, throwing this up there from my friend Cal. This is a comment that he made on a Facebook post that my current patient made. But he said, my wife and I went paleo 7 years ago after seeing Brady. The results have been life-changing. I've lost 52 pounds. I no longer need to take diabetes or high blood pressure meds. Cholesterol levels have improved, and liver function is back to normal. My personal physician says I'm his poster child. Now, how eating healthy can alleviate many maladies without Big Pharma being involved. That's the ultimate goal here, is to keep Big Pharma out of this so you can have the lifestyle that you want, that you deserve, so you can have the health that, frankly, you've got to work for. So thank you, Cal, for this. I love it, and that's why I said, say it louder for the folks in the back can hear. Cal does this a lot, and I love it. He's a great dude, and him and Betty have been absolutely awesome. So here is a preview of what the course actually looks like. There's about 10 videos as of the time of this recording. I will throw more in there as I get ideas that come to my head. 10 videos, lots of downloads. That's all part of that course. That's that number at the bottom of the screen. Hey, so jumping into this. This is a screenshot of the American Diabetes Association, their corporate sponsors. Their corporate sponsors being Lilly, Novo Nordisk, Sanofi, collectively $53.6 million donated by these companies. And these are the companies that make the medications, that make the things that you need when you have diabetes to care for yourself. These are the people that profit when you have diabetes. So make no mistake, they're going to have input on what is found on websites like this and what's prevalent. And I will guarantee you, if you want to keep diabetes or get diabetes, then look no further than the food and nutrition section up here, because they're going to make some pretty heinous recommendations that are not going to help you get rid of this problem. Rather, they're going to hurt you, because they very much have a financial obligation or a financial piece of skin in the game. Taking it a step further, here are the commissioners of the FDA since 2017. And it seems to be a revolving door with the FDA and Big Pharma, with commissioners coming in, going out, and becoming consultants for all the different medication companies. And this is why I'm a big advocate of saying, if the government says something to do something for your health, you probably ought to do something different, especially when it comes to nutrition. There is a lot of money involved in here, and that's why you're not going to hear a lot of. That's why I get a lot of hate for videos like this, is because I'm telling the truth. And these people here, they've got a vested interest in you not learning the truth. So I took this picture in a church parking lot here in Idaho Falls. This is making insulin affordable again. And if you dig into what's happened to insulin in the last 25 years, I would actually look at the book called Sickening by John Abrams. Oh, no, that's not Abrams. Yes, that was Abrams. Sickening is the name of the book. He talks about insulin shooting up in price, like exponentially going up in price. But the new manufactured insulins are not as good as the old cheap ones, but they're definitely more profitable. So they're pushed and pushed and pushed. When in reality, if you make the changes that we're going to talk about in this video, you'll get to the point where you don't need it. And I want to make sure that you know that these things are reversible. So here's what we're going to cover in the video: reversing prediabetes, insulin resistance, type 2 diabetes with diet and lifestyle. We're going to dive into that. We're going to talk about the prevalence of these diseases, and we're going to talk about the conditions themselves. I want to go over what I call the perfect meal with you. If you pattern all of your meals after what I'm about to share with you in the perfect meal, then this disease is gone and no longer exists. So let's be clear here about the types of diabetes. I'm not talking about type 1 diabetes here. Type 1 diabetes is juvenile onset. It is when your immune system actually goes awry and attacks your pancreas. A person with type 1 diabetes, because of that attack, cannot produce their own insulin. And a person like that, they can benefit from what we're talking about here today, but it's definitely not reversible. And the other thing I want you to look at too, and look at this with an open mind, is there's a relative correlation between the onset of type 1 diabetes and childhood vaccinations. I'm throwing it out there. I know of people whose child was perfectly normal until about 6 when they got their kindergarten vaccinations. All of a sudden they're diabetic. I'm just saying it happens. Hey, look for yourself, form your own opinion. I'm not saying there's a positive correlation here. I'm just saying the numbers don't add up. So type 2 diabetes, also known as adult onset diabetes, even though we're starting to see this one younger and younger and younger. This is when the insulin receptors on the cell stop listening to insulin altogether. I'm going to show you an awesome picture about this here soon. This is metabolically disastrous for your health because there are strong links to type 2 diabetes and heart disease, cancer, stroke, and dementia, which is 4 of the top 10 killers in the United States, according to CDC. They create the perfect patient for big pharma. So you're type 2 diabetic, and this happened the other day. Long story. Ask me when you see me this in person. My kids were exposed to a bat, and there are parties involved with this that kind of lost their minds. They had to go get rabies vaccinations and all this garbage nonsense. And I had to take them to the cancer infusion center, so to get these rabies vaccinations. Not by my choice, people. I'm throwing that out there. Anyway. And I'm looking at all these people in these chemo chairs getting their chemo, and I've been there before, so I think I'm okay to say this. And I'm just sad because that's really Big Pharma's goal, is to create patients like that so that they can sell their product. When in reality, where this whole thing starts, is completely reversible and preventable. Now, there are new types of diabetes out there, type 1.5 and type 3. They have a new name, but they're the same mechanism as type 2. Here's type 1.5. This is an autoimmune dysregulation at the site of the insulin receptor. So basically what's happening here is, and I'm going to show you a picture, is when your immune system goes awry and starts attacking the insulin receptor and makes it so you can't metabolize glucose effectively. Typically, this is caused by corn, soy, gluten, and dairy, along with pesticides, heavy metals. And I got a whole list for you. I'll show you. Leaky gut is an issue. Dysbiosis, or bad bacterial infections like parasites, bacterial, heavy metals. These can all play a role. In fact, I just saw a patient the other day whose blood sugar was perfectly normal, or she was type 2 diabetic, yet she was skinny, had no weight to lose at all. So she's probably not type 2, and I started digging into her blood work, and lo and behold, she's got an undiagnosed parasite infection that's probably driving this whole thing. Heavy metals are an issue, but this is the picture that I wanted to show you. Okay, this is your insulin receptor on your cell. So insulin, this is your cell wall. Hey, this yellow structure here going all the way through. And then you have these gates over here that allow glucose to pass from the bloodstream into the cell where they can be produced as energy. So what happens is insulin comes and is literally the key that goes into the key slot that opens this door that allows the glucose to get into the cell. With type 1.5 diabetes, this insulin receptor is actually under attack, and so it is not allowing the system to function normally. Therefore, blood sugar rises, and we become diabetic, type 2 diabetic, or in this case, type 1.5. So there are new types of diet. Just like I said, there's type 3 is glucose metabolism dysregulation in the brain, also known as Alzheimer's disease. It's still reversible, but easier to prevent. And there is definitely a point of no return with these Alzheimer's cases. If you're to the point that you can't remember who your kids are and you're in a home, there's really not that much can be done. But before then, we can make some pretty massive lifestyle changes to get this thing going in the right direction. So let's talk about the prevalence of the diseases. The medical treatment in 2024 is to do blood work, to wait and see, lose some weight by reducing calories, and then put you on metformin, Ozempic, insulin, etc. The dietitian that you see will tell you to reduce calories and give you some great advice about macronutrients, but really no viable changes, no lifestyle changes here other than just take the meds and you're on these meds for the rest of your life because they don't know any better. And then, you've set yourself up for stroke, heart disease, cancer, etc., and becoming the perfect patient for big pharma. So looking at the prevalence of this, you look at this graph. Hey, this is the cases of type 2 diabetes per year since 1970. On the left, you'll see 20 to 220. That's in millions. So 20 million people, about 30 million people in 1970 compared to 2021, where we're pushing closer to 220 million. This is global. Yes, the population has increased, but if you look at the population increase graph, it does not go up as steep as this. And look at about 1980, just after 1980, when all of a sudden this graph starts to take a left turn and climb at a much steeper rate. Well, what happened in the early 80s was you have high fructose corn syrup hitting the market. Big soda companies putting high fructose corn syrup in their products. You'll also see a correlated increase in fatty liver disease since the introduction of high fructose corn syrup. So that's just one of the many causes of this. Refined sugars are certainly to blame, as well as things like food dyes, pesticides, etc. So just an interesting thing. Of course, they don't want to reverse this because it is a cash machine for those people that are involved, including the local clinics here in Idaho Falls. We definitely don't want to fix this because we're making a ton of money from it. So what is the definition of insanity? The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. That's what we've been doing for 1970. And as you can see, the problem is getting worse. So how do we reverse it? Let's get into the nitty gritty. Here is the role of the diet. Hey, if the standard American diet is the cause, we talked about that in that graph, then what's the solution? Getting off of the standard American diet. As my good friend Dr. Andy Barlow says, that good food heals, or God food heals, the way God intended food to be, man food kills. So God food is the stuff growing up out of the ground, the beast in the forest. Man food is the processed junk that the American Heart Association will put their stamp on, like Honey Nut Cheerios, etc. That's man food. That's what's killing you. That's what's causing the problem. So we talked about this picture here. We explained that, but here's the top food sensitivities that will cause that attack at the insulin receptor. Number 1 is gluten. Number 2 is corn. Number 3 is soy. Number 4 is dairy. I love this. Why guess when we can test? There are tests available that can tell you if these foods are the problem. But I will also tell you this, that when we're trying to get your blood sugar back to normal, it is a great practice to get off of these foods completely while your blood sugar stabilizes. Do the test and then start reintroducing these foods based off of what the blood test tells us. That's how we slow the insulin receptor attack down here. The other option is, we're going to talk about it in a minute, if you exercise so much a week, you can actually produce more of these insulin receptors and make your cells more metabolically healthy. So here's the perfect food, eaten in this order. I would start your meal with 2 tablespoons of apple cider vinegar. Hey, 2 tablespoons of apple cider vinegar, you can put it, just do it as a shot. You can put it in 10 ounces of water or 8 ounces of water and throw it back. You can put it in a salad dressing and you have it with your salad. My preference on this is just to get it over with. Just do it like a shot, throw it back, be done. Then I would eat 4 ounces of fresh or frozen vegetables, avoiding corn, potatoes, peas, and carrots because of their glycemic load. They spike your blood sugar really fast. And if you're part of our metabolic reset program, you've heard me say this before, but that I would start by eating your vegetables first, and then I would go to your carnivore protein. 4 to 6 ounces of grass-fed beef, organic poultry, free-range eggs, wild-caught fish, etc. Eat those proteins next. And then I would have your 4 ounces of fresh organic fruit, specifically berries, and avoiding bananas, pineapples, mangoes, and grapes for that same reason. We don't want that blood sugar spike, so I would stay away from those while we're getting your blood sugar under control. And then, of course, I'd follow this up with a 20-minute walk after each one of those meals. So if you intermittent fast and you do this meal twice a day and walk like this, you better have your doctor's on speed dial, because your blood sugar is going to come down. You're going to have to make adjustments to your medication. So that, in my opinion, is the perfect meal. What do I drink? And the answer is a minimum of 64 ounces of filtered water per day. If you're to the point that you're diabetic or insulin resistant, your kidneys and bladder, your kidneys needs to be flushed out. You only can do that with water, and I would highly recommend filtering it to get the chemicals out. There are some commercial electrolytes that are available, like Element, Redmond's, and MyoScience. We do offer Element in our office. But this picture here that I'm showing you is actually from a patient of mine who drank whatever this is. I think it's Body Armor. But there's no sugar in this Body Armor. But her blood sugar spiked when she drank it. She's wondering why. And it's because of all the chemicals that are in there cause that immune system reaction, and her blood sugar goes through the roof. Plus, when you drink things that are sweet, they're not sugar, your brain does not know the difference, so you'll still get a similar result. So that's why I'm big on let's drink nothing but clean stuff, hence these commercial electrolytes, etc., and then 64 ounces of filtered water. Lifestyle changes. We got to start with walking 20 minutes after each one of your meal. That is 40 minutes of exercise per day, and it's not at a look. If you're you don't need to go to the gym and sweat your brains out for 50 minutes a day. You just don't need to. Hey, what you need is to start where you're at, because if you overdo it, you can actually shift the problem the other direction. Because you're stressing your body out, you're causing a cortisol spike that causes your blood sugar to go with it. So start with walking for 20 minutes after each meal. The ultimate goal would be to 2 to 3 times a week of lifting weights, but we will get to that, because it turns out that healthy muscle tissue is actually a really great buffer for your blood sugar. So I'm a big opponent of that. Proponent. I'm a big proponent of that. Stress management. You need to get into practicing mindfulness, meditation, yoga, reducing stress, etc. I get into that in more detail in the in the course itself. And we want to make sure that we are sleeping appropriately, because sleep, 7 to 9 hours of sleep, is actually very, very beneficial for insulin regulation and blood sugar. Again, I get into that in more detail in the course. So here is what we covered today. We talked about reversing prediabetes, insulin resistance, and type 2 diabetes with diet and lifestyle. It is actually possible when you do the right things. Understanding the prevalence and impact of prediabetes, insulin, and type 2 diabetes. Retiring with type 2 diabetes is not ideal. You will not have the quality of life that you need to enjoy yourself, your grandkids, etc. We have a better understanding of the conditions now. We talked about the role of diet. We went over the perfect meal. Hey, now it's about today's offer. I have put together this course, The Ultimate Blood Sugar Solution. And in this course are videos and downloadable notes for you to follow, not to mention meal plans and other cheats in here that we'll talk about here shortly. But I put this all together for you. The offer's at the bottom of the screen. Text that number. Text reverse diabetes to that number. And I'm going to send you a link to this. And here's what comes with this. Hey, this is more than just a course. It's a comprehensive program that I put together designed to empower you and the tools you need to take control of your health through our careful videos and downloadable resources. This is what you are going to learn. The fundamentals of blood sugar regulation and how to monitor it effectively. How to make dietary changes that support healthy blood sugar. The importance of regular physical activity and stress management. How to interpret your blood work. That's a huge one. I'm going to show you what to look for. Hey, and then tips for a sustainable lifestyle for long term. So all of this, hey, it's 10 videos at $249 value. It's a 4-week there's a 4-week meal plan for a $49 value. There's an inflammation questionnaire that I would highly recommend that you download that and print it twice. Fill it out once before and fill it out again in 30 days and see the difference that you've made. There's 2 lists, one of 50 low glycemic vegetables and one of 50 low glycemic fruits. Hey, that's a $29 value. I'll even throw in a strategy session with me so we can get on the phone. We can talk about where you're at. I can give you specific recommendations based on where you are. I will give you my best recommendations, but I promise to not sell you anything. Hey, and then access to our private communities, which I think is priceless. This is a ton of value. We're offering it for $79. Again, text reverse diabetes to that number. Do it today because I'm going to take this down. Hey, so limited time here, just $79. You've got 3 choices. You can do nothing. You can keep doing the same thing, which is still doing nothing, or you can join me for a different path. So again, text that number, 208-218-8622, reverse diabetes. I will send you a link and you can get all that for $79. Thank you for joining me on this video. Please feel free to like and share it with others that you'll know it'll help. So thanks a million. We'll talk to you soon.